done come from and where my dancers come from and that kind of thing, but also looking at why does this word mean the same thing in all these different places, and what are the political and historical forces that have brought that to be. And so thematically, I feel like our work moves in both of those directions. You know, it's not just a simple celebration, although, like, you know, we, as Sherwood mentioned in the beginning, we do have this great wealth of dance at our fingertips here in the Bay Area. And it's also, you know, how did like an Indian American, Mexican, Indian Mexican, you know, come together into this dance company, and how does that, you know, where did that come from? What are the political forces like globalization, colonization, all of these things? So our work, we've been mostly commissioned to do Bhangra work, and that's kind of where our work had been going until the present moment, which means that mostly we've performed at Indian kind of parties and events and gatherings, and or, you know, multicultural kind of fairs and festivals and that kind of thing. So now I'm just kind of exploring other roads, because I found that to be, it's sort of a formula that I have down in a way, like how do I go about choreographing a Bhangra piece that people want to see, that they enjoy, and I love it and I continue to love it, but I've started moving in a direction that will challenge myself and challenge the dancers and keep us all kind of interested in what we're doing.
Okay, so I think I would really like to now move it out so people can still keep asking Jyoti questions, that'd be fine. But also, if you just have more general questions or comments, we have a couple other questions that we might like to bring up, but I would be happy to kind of turn the floor over and give people a chance to express themselves.
And we also know that there are practitioners and artists in the room, so if you want to bring up your own work and bring it into this conversation, now is the time to do so.
Yeah.
I never step up to a mic in a public forum to say something, so I'm nervous. But the balloon or the ball that I saw up there was something I just wanted to acknowledge, in that there's a lot of effort to control movement, and that's one of the things I'm thinking about as far as dance. It's like freedom, you know, removing your body. So.
Definitely more of a comment than a question, but of course if this sparks a thought or question from others. My name is Farah. I'm with the Chitresh Das Dance Company, and I can't help but hearing some of the things that a lot of the artists are saying here today. Is a word that keeps striking me is that of legacy. And I think that it's so important that in culturally specific work that we talk about this word legacy, because it's not just about the movement, it is about preserving traditions. And hearing Jyoti speaking about, or talking about your own experiences, and you know, I'm part of a dance company. Yes, it's Indian classical dance. You can hear me talking. I'm very much born and brought up here in America. My guru sister Charlotte, you know, who's not of South Asian descent. So seeing people, yes, we are in the Bay Area, but I think it's about, when I talk about legacy, it's really about looking back at the masters, at our gurus, and really paying credit to them for, such as yourself, sir, who's come to this country and broke through the barriers of essentially multiculturalism, or created it in a lot of ways, and about holding true to the integrity of the art form. And that is so important in preserving these traditions and creating these legacies. And just even for me specifically, I just came back from a month-long tour with my Guruji in India, and it's so interesting because I'm hearing what you were saying about, it seems like the communities there actually, they're longing for the tradition to be back. Unfortunately, what we're seeing in India is not so much of that. We're seeing pop culture really take over there, and every country has its right to continue and to evolve into their various pop styles and whatnot. But we are really, as an organization, under, of course, the guidance of our guru, really trying to preserve and go back to the tradition through performance, through teaching. And again, it's so much more than just about the here and now. It's about the legacy and really about holding on to the tradition. So that's something that's really striking me tonight.
Hi, my name is Jorge. I guess My foundation comes, I started dancing with a Mexican dance, folklorico. And so when you mentioned legacy and then also with the Filipino dancers, one thing that really interests me is, I guess I want to complicate the issue, the legacy, because in folklorico, it's the same type of thing of trying to preserve the tradition because you are representing a culture, and people still live in whatever state that you're dancing from. So there is a certain responsibility, but then also for the people that are, it's tough because tradition is problematic in the sense that it is always evolving, one, and then two, to try to preserve a tradition, if there's certain things about the culture from which that tradition comes from that may be problematic to today's standards or to people that are practicing it today, how can we mediate that, or how can we break out of that? For example, in folklorico, there's a lot of the dancing is very man flirting with a woman, and it's courtship dances, right? What if you're a gay man and you're still dancing, courting with a woman, for example? It's a very basic example there. So I'm wondering, this issue of legacy, how are we stuck in that? What if we want to break out of that? Are we still paying respect to the tradition, or I did a show kind of talking about that tension there. So I'm just wondering, any comments of you guys? Yeah.
So the kind of folkloric dance that I study, some of the dances are done for circumcision, for example, and male and female circumcision. And we learn these dances in class all the time. And the legacy I come from is from the National Ballet of Guinea. So it's folkloric and also nationalized, and has a long history that's complicated. But I've seen actually the ballet, Les Ballets Africains themselves. Last time I saw them, they do a piece where the girls are going to be taken away for circumcision, and they protest. And so it's this whole piece with the conflict that's going on there between the older generation and the newer generation. And in the end, the girls get away, and there are these women dressed in like nurse uniforms, like modern day kind of white, Western nurse uniforms, that come to their rescue. And it was really interesting for me to see that piece, to see how the people, within that tradition itself, who are dancing in Guinea, who are, my teachers when I go there, are kind of responding to those issues themselves, and they're not here. It's not just that it's unpalatable to us because we live here, but it's also something that people are talking about over there and kind of responding to through their work.
Charlotte, from Charlotte and then Denise.
Yes, what you were talking about in terms of things that might be problematic in cultures change, traditions change, and we get enlightened and want to change stereotypes and things like that. But I think that that's where, it really comes into a tremendous responsibility of the gurus that are teaching the traditions to be able to go deeper than this is the right way, and this is the way I did it, and this is the way that I was taught. They really have to go deeper. They themselves have to think very deeply, and they have to really try and reach deeply. For instance, I can speak only from my guru, Pandit Chitresh Das, who really makes an effort to sort of reach you no matter what you think. And for instance, in Kathak, when you portray Radha and Krishna, it's a lot of people think it's very stereotypical, very feminine, very masculine. But there's this beautiful concept in Indian classical dance called Ardhanarishwara, that is within one body, you have both the masculine and the feminine. So he always says, you are the God, you are Radha, you are Krishna. You have to become that, you have to explore yourself. You yourself are a guru, you have to explore that. But he says before you can do that, you have to learn, you have to study very, very intensely, and you have to first master the elements of the art form. And if you don't do that, you can't ever relate to the tradition. You will not be able to make it your own. You won't be able to carry it on because you won't have a foundation. So it's like seeing beyond what my father did or someone else's father did, and seeing how it is the human condition, and how, all